Hello and welcome to the Department of Deportation podcast, the DEPODcast, where you can get all your latest news on immigration, the border, and deportations. Don't forget to visit departmentofdeportation.com for all your latest news and merch. Welcome to our Focus on South Florida special. In this episode, we're going to be examining some of the successes and some of the issues still remaining for immigration policy in South Florida.
ICE announcing 32 people who entered the country illegally were arrested in Palm Beach County. ICE says the migrants were from Mexico, Central and South America, Haiti, and Cuba. ICE says the people arrested, you see here in these pictures, committed crimes ranging from drugs, prostitution, illegal re-entry, fraud, and theft.
Jim, BI Incorporated is a program that monitors immigrants, whether that's through regular check-ins, electronic monitoring like an ankle bracelet, to make sure they show up to their immigration court hearings. But sources tell us when they showed up for their check-in on Monday, they were detained and are now awaiting deportation. Immigrants in Delray Beach are saying they were tricked and are now being deported. People showed up to what they thought was a regular appointment at BI Incorporated in Delray Beach, an immigration supervision office. But when they arrived, they were detained and are now awaiting deportation.
So in those clips, we saw that in Palm Beach County, they're actually doing a good job. Sounds like a combination of feds and locals. We need to see more of that, maybe in areas like Lake Worth. In our next clip, we'll see that Palm Beach County schools, they're one of the only ones in the entire area that I've seen, the school boards that mention following federal law.
School districts across our area say there's been a growing concern among parents, and they've been noticing fewer Hispanic students showing up to class. Fear of ICE raids at local schools is leaving some empty seats in the classroom. The school district of Palm Beach County writing, "As a school district, we remain committed to providing a safe and supportive learning environment for students while following all relevant state and federal laws and regulations."
In our next clip, we'll see that Port Salerno, it looks like a great place for ICE raids also. It seems like they might need them when they have almost over 50% drop in attendance on some days at their local schools. That indicates that they have a lot of illegals in that area.
That our numbers are nowhere near where we would like them to be.
Jennifer DeShazo with the Martin County School District says recent attendance numbers in county schools are concerning. Baseline attendance ranges from just about 90 to 96% at the elementary level. Last Monday, those numbers dropped 1 to 4% almost across the board. And then yesterday, Port Salerno Elementary saw fewer than half of their students in class. It's important to note that across the country Monday, a campaign called A Day Without Immigrants was held, encouraging immigrants not to go to work or school to show the importance of immigrants to the economy.
So we need students in school so they can have that contact with their teachers, their peers, and be learning and progressing as we would like them to.
The drop coincides with recent immigration activity. ICE has not set foot on any Martin County campus.
Correct. And it's not something that we anticipate.
I spoke with a mother and daughter at dismissal time here at Port Salerno Elementary. They both told me they've noticed fewer kids in the classroom.
In our next clip, we're going to see that there are, in Florida, lots of illegal immigrants endangering their children, even if the children might be actual citizens.
Port St. Lucie police tell me the one-year-old boy was walking alone in the middle of Darwin Avenue on Friday afternoon. When officers found the child, they took him home here on Sarah Boulevard. Only they say they found barely anything inside.
Vehicles had to swerve around to avoid the child.
If you ask police, they'll tell you it's a miracle the toddler found walking alone wasn't hurt.
The 1-year-old child, was found quickly, and thank God wasn't hit by a car. Thank God didn't wander to a waterway, which there's a lot of waterways.
It happened Friday afternoon on Darwin Avenue in Port St. Lucie. Neighbor Isabel Goldberg is stunned.
Innocent. But how come they left a kid so little walk down the street?
Sergeant Dominic Mazzini says it's unclear how long the child was wandering. He says when officers finally found the toddler's home, it was almost empty with no working electricity and food rotting in the fridge.
Food in the freezer had thawed out, and the meats and whatnot were thawed out and bleeding.
Police say 8 people were living inside, 5 adults ranging in age from 20 to 26, all undocumented migrants from Guatemala, and 3 kids born in the U.S., the 1-year-old, a 4-month-old, and a 7-year-old. Police say there were no beds inside the home.
There was clothing everywhere on the floor, and it was hard to see if there was even a mattress or not.
Goldberg heartbroken of the living conditions.
Poor baby, maybe he was disoriented or hungry. Or, you never know what happened to that poor. That broke my heart.
The 3 children were taken to the hospital and are currently with DCF. All 5 adults face child neglect charges and are now at the St. Lucie County Jail without bond on a hold for ICE. In Port St. Lucie, I'm Tyler Hatfield.
Well, as we saw in this case, the whole entire family is actually not going to get deported together because we don't want those kids being abused like that again. So the parents are being deported and the kids are being placed into care. In our next clip, we'll see some very troubling comments from Lake Worth Commissioner Reynaldo Diaz, who can't be bothered to mention citizens, taxpayers, legal immigrants, or residents.
Even though there have been no ICE raids in Lake Worth Beach, City Commissioner Reynaldo Diaz agrees people are wary.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of fear in our community.
Diaz says half of Lake Worth Beach's residents are Hispanic and about 9,000 people are from Guatemala. He says if they stay home, it could impact the city's economy.
It's certainly something that we have to tread carefully because we do want to help people. We don't want to kick them while they're down. But we also maybe don't want to make their situation worse by calling attention to it. It's something that we don't really know, right? We're treading very carefully, and we're just taking it as this develops.
Well, as you can see there, his focus is really misguided, and he seems to only be concerned about illegals and not actual citizens and taxpayers. Also makes you wonder if any of the officials in Lake Worth Beach or any of the other cities and areas are actually interfering to a point where they might face federal charges. Well, that does it for this episode. Don't forget to follow our channel, like our videos, share everything, and visit DeportationDeportation.com for all the merch you see in the background. Buy a shirt, support the channel, let people know how you feel.